done. Those last steps went easier and quicker than I expected. Pretty happy with the way it turned out, except for some of the rough edges on the gray blanket. I may try to, I guess there's some kind of product that you can use to help prevent fraying edges, so I might look at that and see if that works. But my cameraman here is going to help me, and we're going to go through some of the features of this coat. It's got a lot of different things that it does. Get a little closer here. Look at these, the way I did these toggles. These are buffalo horn toggles, and I left extra loop in the paracord and tied another little knot, and I added a cord lock. So this way it's easier to undo, but it's also, it's kind of loose. So if I want looseness, that's great. But if not, I can cinch that down and it gets nice and tight. Next, pockets. This is my first time trying to do this welt style pocket. It's kind of a nice finished look to it. It's got a little flap. Gives a little sneak peek of the green second layer of wool on the inside, but nice spacious pocket. Side ties. So this whole, I'm not going to unlace it right now because it's 20 degrees out, or 19 degrees, sorry, and the feels like temperature is supposedly 12. I'm just wearing a short and t-shirt under this. I'm pretty comfortable. But yeah, so this will split all the way up the side. As you can see here, I don't have these top ties done. So if I'm hiking around and moving around, or if it's, spring or early fall or something and it's not quite so cold, I can open this up and still keep one jacket that'll keep me warmer if I need it to, or I can thermoregulate and cool down if I need to. But the way I did these ties, there's a tie on the front and back. I just overlap the bits of trim, tie a little square knot in it, and if I want to get rid of these ends because they're dangling around getting in the way, I left a little space here to tuck them in. That also works great for the ties that I'm not going to use. So I've got 4 ties up the side. These lower ones are mostly for if it's really cold and I'm just standing or sitting around, or actually I plan on using this when I go camping. With the Scouts, this will be part of my sleep system. I'll just tie this down here. I'll have one other blanket for my legs, and that's pretty much all I should need for most weather conditions. But I can just roll it up, tie it through itself, keep that tie out of the way. One of the other things I can do, I'll undo this one. If I just quickly want to cinch it down and it doesn't need to stay super tight, I can just take the tie from the back and feed it through the loop on the front and just pull. And then I can loop it around itself and it stays pretty good just like that. But if I really want it to stay, I'm going to do a square knot. Alright, moving on. More pockets. Got a chest pocket up here, which if Odin wasn't filming with my phone right now, you'd see that it's the perfect size for my phone. It goes in, drops down to about here. So even as I'm moving around, it's not going to fall out. Doesn't need any zippers, no snaps, buttons, or anything like that that could break. Sleeves. These are one of my previous coats. I decided, the first one I did, I just had a really long sleeve to cover my fingers in case it was cold. That worked okay, but there was a lot of extra fabric in the way. Next coat I did, I built a pocket into the sleeve, which was okay, but it was still not quite as functional as I wanted. So this one I kind of went overboard. This is a sleeve, and it's got a shock cord cinch here so I can keep the excess out of my way. But as you probably noticed, I put a little thumb hole so it becomes a fingerless glove. The other thing you may have noticed is that there's this kind of gauntleted effect on the sleeve here, but that's because it is extra long and it rolls down and covers my whole hand, which adds warmth, but it also works as a hand warmer. You can put your hands together like this. Just having that extra skin on skin generates a whole heck of a lot of extra warmth I do this a lot in some of my other coats, sitting around the campfire, even sitting in the house. I use one of them as just like a house coat. I did keep the sleeve pocket, which you can see the stitching right there, so I can slide my arm back just a little bit. Now my hand is inside this nice little warm pocket, nice little mitten. Pretty easy to get in and out of. Roll that back up. Moving on, we got the collar here. So it's a nice tall collar. Got a tie, got a loop. I like this this tie and loop system. It works pretty well. It's pretty durable. I just feed the wool tie through the wool loop. This is all wool, by the way. And then I don't even tie a knot. I just wrap it around itself a couple of times. Wool has some shape to it as it is, so it'll stand up on its own pretty well. There we go. I got my nose and my mouth covered. If I need a little bit more, if I just want it more like a turtleneck kind of thing, I'll just roll it down like that. Next we got the hood. I'm pretty happy with the way the hood turned out. It's got a lot of nice shape and volume to it, so it stays put. It doesn't get all floppy on me. It's lined, and in the liner I have a 2-cord system that is designed to keep the hood snug to my head, because as a glasses wearer, one of the things I hate about hoods is when you turn your head, the hood stays, pushes the glasses out of the way, and you know, who wants to be looking at the inside of your hood when you're trying to see what's over there? So what we've got here, this is one cord that runs up over the crown of my head and down the other side. And for you scouts out there, I tied a couple of bowlines on the end for finger loops, non-slipping loops. Works great. Cinch it down, slide the cord locks up. Now you'll notice right away, the hood itself doesn't look all weird. I cinched it down, but the outside of the hood maintained its shape, which is something I liked. I didn't want to look, I want to look weird, but I don't want to look stupid. So the liner is actually floating inside. It's just connected around the edge and around the neck. The other cord is in the back here. Now if I turn, you're not going to be able to hear me, so I'll explain it first. There's a little pocket and another cord that runs around my head, kind of like a halo. Cinch that down. It's got a cord lock on it too. Okay, so again, the hood itself on the outside still looks relatively normal. It's not super deformed or anything. But check this out. The hood moves with my head. Doesn't knock my glasses off my face. It's great. So moving on from that, got a little belt sleeve here. So that helps keep the belt in place. I didn't want a bunch of belt loops on it, but if I were to undo the belt and just leave it hang, I can hang the coat up as it is, and the belt doesn't fall off it. There's also a little bit of depth to that pocket, so I'm either going to make a belt out of some excess wool or some webbing and just side release buckles just to keep in there in case I don't have this nice belt on me. Something that can stow in that pocket. Snap, and I've got myself a belt. Other features here. So, as I said, one of the things I wanted in this coat is something that I could wear when I'm being active. So, hiking around, camping around, if I'm moving around and I'm getting too warm, I can take my arms right out of the sleeves. And I can tell you, it's a lot colder with my arms out of my sleeves right now. So I wouldn't be getting too hot. What else? The length. It's a little bit like mid-shin, and with the ties up the side, depending on how much mobility I need, I can untie or tie got another clip here. Again, so if I was being less mobile, I'd have all this cinched down to keep me warm. But if I need to move around, you can see this doesn't get in the way. I'm thinking it'll be great for snowboarding when I'm in my nice low stances going down the mountain. I'm going to try that out this afternoon maybe. And then just as far as materials, this blue blanket is 100% wool. The gray and the green blankets, I'm not entirely sure. These were thrift store purchases. Relatively cheap, just old wool blankets. I'm guessing the gray is somewhere between 80 and 90%. Probably similar for the green. I think they're old military blankets and they vary in their composition. What else can I show off about the coat? Well, the other thing that I won't show off now because I don't want to take this off in the cold is I do have a little paracord loop stitched in there so I can hang it up. Being that it's wool, I don't want to put this on a hanger because if it stays hanging on a hanger, it'll stretch out the shoulder area and I don't want that. So I've just got a nice little loop. I'll hang it up on a hook. I think that's about it. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I had wondered maybe, you know, if this was something cool, if I could make these and perhaps sell them. And as of right now, how long this took me to make, I don't think people would be willing to pay the amount of money I'd have to charge to make this affordable for me. But I did, prior to making this, I made a complete pattern out of paper. There were some kind of things that I had to figure out along the way, so I've taken notes. So maybe if my skills improve and I get faster and I can streamline the process, that might be something I do. If I figure out how to do it, maybe I would, you know, work with a company if it's potentially profitable to, if enough people were interested in a coat like this, might try to kickstart a run of these or something. I don't know. Right now I'm just kind of giddy and high because I'm happy the way the coat turned out. I'm an artist. I want to be making comics and doing other illustrations and things, so this is kind of a side hobby. We'll see where it goes. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.